So my project today is to break down this Quadro, Quadro 4200. We're going to go ahead and break it down. I'm not going to go through all that process. I'm just breaking it down so I can go ahead and put more thermal paste and see if I can't get it to run cooler than the 80 some odd degrees that it's normally running. So yeah, there'll probably be a short involved, and yeah, I'll record part of this, but not the whole thing. All right, now that we've got it cleaned and repasted and all that stuff, we can get on with the next part, which is testing it. We're going to test it with a 12700KF, just so that the processor isn't the bottleneck, and we'll be able to see exactly what this card can do.
So we did spend some time cleaning this up. I mean, cleaning it completely up, from the fan to the fins to everything I could get a hold of inside there, making it nice and clean. Changing the thermal paste, it definitely needed to be changed. It wasn't in horrible shape, but you could tell it was the original thermal paste. My goal here was to hopefully bring the temperatures down, and this being in a different environment, different case, maybe have it a little bit better chance of getting some better frame rates.
So it seems to have made a little bit of a difference. It's not jumping immediately up into the 80s. It's staying in the mid-70s, but that's still, I'd like to see it a little better than that. So it seems to have topped out right at about 80 degrees, and that's okay. You can see that CPU is nice and cool, well, 42 to 50.
So the good news, of course, is we got some better temps. They weren't that much better, but you could tell it was a little bit of a difference. Instead of being in the mid-80s, it was topping out 79 or 80, and most of the time, when it wasn't under stress, it was doing pretty well. It was a lot lower than it had been, and it did need to be cleaned. Now, we did, of course, run the benchmarks. We compared them to what was in the Z440 when we ran that, and we put them in the case of Cool Blue back behind me that's got a 12700KF. There were some significant differences in these benchmarks. Just not quite the way I expected. Now, when I first did Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it looked about the same, so I thought, okay, the card is just the card. So yeah, nothing major there. I did check Borderlands 3. I tested it. I did it with DX11 and DX12 both, and I'll show both of those. And the surprising thing here is we weren't getting great results to begin with. We're still not getting great results now. And in fact, it was a little bit worse with the faster CPU and more airflow than it was in the Workstation, and I did not quite figure that out. We were topping out at 25 frames per second with 1080p low in DX11 and 22 with DX12. The performance was worse in DX12 in both cases, but I think I would rather have it in DX11, and in this case it worked better in the server. I don't know if that has to do anything with the way the PCIe is set up or anything. I'll have to investigate this a little bit further, or see if maybe I didn't mess something up when I was trying to repaste. But yeah, the temperatures were better. I would have figured the frame rates were better, but it actually performed a little bit worse. I did try Cyberpunk 2077 again. We were getting, again, worse performance in the better case with a faster CPU and more airflow, which again was confusing. We did get some of the same results when we were trying to test, though, is that it would not work with the FSR, the upscaling. Incidentally, Cyberpunk now does have FSR 3 with frame gen and all that. This was almost unrecoverable when I did this, because not only did I not get any results, it locked it up where I couldn't restart the game. I had to actually go find the configuration file, wipe that, start the game over again, so it would rewrite another one, and then I was able to retest. Went back through, got very similar numbers than before I made any of those configurations. It just simply, the upscaling did not work. XeSS, again, did work, cut down on my frame rates. We're better off just using native resolution in this, and probably going with like 720p, yeah, quite honestly. So this card can function, and it does have a purpose. It has a purpose as a video output. It's not going to be much better than that. It's definitely not a gaming GPU. So this card is a little bit of an oddity if you're used to seeing regular, mainstream gaming graphics cards. But it's not so odd for, say, the Workstation. It is a single slot card, more or less a blower style. It's got some vents up here and through the front. It does take a 6-pin connector for power, so it pulls about 110 watts, but only has 4 gig of VRAM. Now, it's not a very good gaming GPU, but it was extremely good in its time, handling things like, some graphics applications like CAD drawings and all that. So it did serve its purpose. It does have a purpose. That purpose is not going to be congruent to what we're doing now in that computer. We're going to turn that into a bit of a PC gamer, but it is a pretty cool video card to look at. And presentation wise, that it does look pretty cool. You have to admit that. I like it. Anyway, as far, we'll do something else with this. We might put this somewhere where I need the car. Oh, and by the way, I took the bracket off the back. We might use this in something else somewhere down the line, just as a placeholder or a video out or something, especially if I'm using a Xeon processor to try to make sure that I've got video out where the Xeons normally would not have. A lot of Intel CPUs have integrated graphics, the Xeons don't, so we might use it in a case like that. Or even testing some of the Ryzen CPUs that don't normally have integrated graphics. This could serve along, like a 1030 or something like that show me that, hey, look, at least I got a video out. Got to be careful there, because this again does need external power, and something like a 730 or a 1030 do not. So yeah, but anyway, it's a pretty cool video card to look at. I was glad I got a hold of it. I was glad it came in this setup when I bought it. You can sell this if you try to make a little bit of money back off of that. They still are in some kind of demand where I might be able to get 30 or 35 bucks out of it. So I could actually sell this and make a little bit more money back that would go toward that build. But I think in this case I'm going to keep it. It's a nice little display, and it could serve a purpose. So we think that, so if you got anything out of this video or learned anything at all, or just, found it interesting, go ahead and throw a like on it for me, if you will. If you're not already subscribed, please do that. Subscribe down below. Doesn't cost you anything to do that. Doesn't cost you anything for a like, doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and I certainly would appreciate it. We're coming up on 1,400, soon to hit 1,500. Really, really want to try to make that push. Don't forget to follow me on the other socials, Discord, and all that good stuff. But if you don't do any of that, please just do me one favor, and that's be good to each other. Be kind. Especially right now, if you live in the southeastern United States and you've got the opportunity to do something nice or be kind or just be comforting, please do, because it could make all the difference in the world in somebody's day. There's a lot of things going on right now, especially in the wake of the hurricane that just came through, and we need all the kindness we can get right now, okay? My house, for the most part, is fine. I lost my patio. It's okay. I did not get flooded. I am okay. My home is okay, but there are a lot of people out there that are much, much worse off, and if there's anything you can do to at least just be kind, offer encouraging words, anything at all, please do that, okay? Especially right now. Anyway, that is all I have for right now. So until I get myself into something I got no business getting into, a new NVMe drive is coming up. Still working on the Workstation. Got some other stuff going on. I still have to get back to all these Optiplexes that are sitting here taking up room in my office. Anyway, that's all I got for now. And until then, I'll see you later.